Welcome, everybody. This is a session on strengthening diversity in the industry through encouraging and supporting women. And we're specifically going to focus on the excellent RISE mentoring program. We have 4 brilliant mentees here, 3 current, 1 from last year's program. I should point out to start that the sharp-eyed among you will notice that I'm not Lisa. I'm Ben, and I'm just stepping in for this session since she couldn't make it here for the first thing this morning. A few things about the RISE program. It was started a few years ago. I forget how many exactly. 10 years ago. Christ. Time flies. I'm getting old. And it's grown and grown. It's been hugely successful. This year in the UK, there are 38 in the current cohort of mentees in the UK program. 135 women globally. And there are now programs running in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, APAC, and North America. Which is wonderful. Could you guys just introduce yourself very briefly, name where you work and what you do? Should we start with Zoe at the end?
Yeah, so my name is Zoe. I'm the head of PR and comms at BitMovin. So I do a lot of our external communications, general marketing. I've been there for BitMovin for almost 3 years now. And I was a RISE mentee last year and very much enjoyed it. It's a great community and it's nice to see the next cohort as well and meet some of those people.
I'm Shania. I'm part of ITV Daytime. I'm a support engineer for the 4 daytime shows. So Good Morning Britain, Lorraine, This Morning, and Loose Women. I'm on the programme this year. And this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So bear with me if I'm a little bit shaky. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I'm Faye. I work at IMG. I'm also one of the mentees this year. Joined IMG about 6 months ago. I do a little bit of a weird role, I suppose. I'm in between the engineers, production, and also just very operational. So if we're building a box-in-box for some of your productions, or if we're looking into better solutions for your remote audio or whatever that may be, we're sort of the interim there. But it's really lovely to be here, and we're just super lucky to be on the RISE program. So I think we're all really excited to talk to you about it, and hopefully we can give you some good insight.
Yeah, cool. And I'm Sam. I work for a company called Foo Engine. I'm head of media operations there. And like Shania and Faye, I'm also on the RISE mentoring program this year. So really excited to be part of it.
Very much. So I'm going to start with you, Zoe, first, if that's all right. Can you share a bit about your journey with the RISE mentoring program, what inspired you to apply, and the experience, how that's shaped your career since?
Yeah, I've been aware of RISE since I joined the industry, I'd say in 2015, and I've just seen how it's grown and grown and grown and grown, really created a community of women within the industry. We are a minority, and I saw on LinkedIn and social media and through lots of different channels the RISE mentoring program and what it delivered for women in the industry, and I wanted to join that and meet more of the community. I think the group that we have, even though the program finished last year, it's still very active. We all support each other. And I think that speaks to the power of the community because, it's a year later and we're still all chatting, we're still meeting up at events and arranging to meet up, and we have a monthly call. I think it's just made me feel that I have people to talk to if, I've got concerns, or it's just nice to have make friendships in this industry. And it just makes us feel a little less alone as a minority in this community. And I think what RISE has done has just been fantastic.
And Shania, same question to you, and I know that this year's cohort is particularly close, so I guess you're going to echo that, the community element. But what about your experience?
So for me, I luckily got into RISE through 2 ladies that I used to work with. So Marusha and Rebecca recommended RISE for me, and I applied just on a whim, needed some extra support in my community for a time that I was going through, and was lucky enough to fall on this year's cohort. And I joined based on just to build confidence within myself. And actually, when I joined, my company went through redundancy, so it was almost like the perfect timing, really, to ever go through that, because I just had this overwhelming wave of support from people that I've just met. So that made that whole process so much easier. And even my fellow mentees watching us today, knowing that I'm nervous being up here, it's just the support never ends. It's like surrounded by you and you're never alone. And, you know, there's already talks of meeting up next year and like keeping in contact. And I mean, it's lovely to hear that the old cohorts are doing that as well. So it's something like once you're in it, you're always part of it. And I think it's needed in our industry, especially for us as women. It's just, we need that support, I think, a little bit more.
So when you joined the program, you were taking on a new role, is that correct? Or shortly after? So can you talk about like how your mentor influenced your personal and professional growth and supported you through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I joined the program, I had just been promoted to head of media ops, my first ever management role. So I was very scared and very anxious. So something I put in my application was wanting advice on being a female leader. And Carla and the rest of the Rise team like really smashed my mentor pairing. Donna, and she's been absolutely fantastic and really helpful to me building that confidence and just learning how to be a manager whilst doing it, but also being a leader at the same time.
And Faye, you kind of took a different shift in your career around the time you started the program. I mean, how did your mentor help you through that and sort of experience, going almost the other way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mentor and I used to work in quite similar industries. So Lorraine Panman, that works at Pulse Live, absolute legend. She's in a really technical sphere, and then just from like an IT perspective, and then I moved slightly more back into the broadcast sphere, which is what I was more used to. And one of the most useful things I think I've found is that sort of like reflection. Because when you're in it, I think everyone can agree, it's so unbelievably hard to be taking that step back and going, oh my goodness, every day is just so difficult. What am I doing? Where am I? Have I made the right decision? But Lorraine's really measured. And I think one of the things she's done for me has been able to say, do you know what? Actually, from today versus 6 months ago, you can really see a positive trend in your overall attitude and your behaviour. And also, she's so unbelievably well connected. And I think that's credit to the Rise programme, Carla, everyone here today. It's not just the people you're in your mentee group with. It's the mentors. It's their friends, colleagues, whatever. It really is just a door. And it's just open for you. And the fact that everyone's so open, so committed just to connecting people, furthering your career, putting us in positions like this, speaking on a panel today, which none of us probably would have done before, let's be honest. But it just gives you that option and the confidence, because you've got cheerleaders, basically a group of people that are all really there. And I say that because I don't think it's just limited to your mentor. I think they're a fantastic cornerstone, but equally it's just everyone here is brilliant. And I think it's really opened my eyes to go, we've heard sort of Zoe and Shania mention, there's a need for sort of support, whether you feel alone in a management position, whether you feel like you don't really know where you're going or what's next. Everyone has that, regardless if it's your first day in the industry or you're going through that sort of mid-career, what do I do now? I think there's just such a network of people you can connect with on that. It's really been phenomenal.
And I think there's an interesting point there about building confidence and through, new experiences such as being on a panel. I think it's actually my first time moderating a panel as well, so feedback afterwards. Shania, building confidence, and it was a key benefit. Can you share any specific moments that have really impacted you in the last 6 months?
I think for me, it's all the networking events that we've been able to do, because for me, apart from like maybe when I was at university, and it's like you go with your uni lot and you kind of have that group that you follow. For here, you're on your own and you go to this network and you've just got so many people from different aspects of the industry that I hadn't even been introduced to. So for me, meeting all them people and seeing how people interact gave me more confidence to be able to talk about what I do and what I do at work, what I'm doing outside of work. It was a really nice to see how open everybody was, and just how comfortable people were speaking to one another made it more comfortable for me to be able to open up and speak as well. And I mean, me 6 months ago would never have dreamt of sitting here and being able to speak. But here we are 6 months later. And as soon as that message went out saying who wants to do it, and I was like, okay, sure, like I'll give it a go. So I think just me doing this today has shown me personally, for me, that I have grown a massive amount of confidence from being within Rise, whether that's the networking events and so forth that they offer us. So
We touched on peer connections and kind of the network. A year on or so from your experience, Zoe, how has your network supported and how's that changed, your work and what you do today, day to day? Sorry.
I think in terms of the Rise mentee group that I was a part of, I always have that WhatsApp group there and that network there. If I've got a question about, how could I handle this, as a head of department and things like that. So I have them to kind of lean on or ask questions on, and we'll ask each other questions and things like that. I think it's definitely given me confidence in my role to be more sure of myself. I think because women especially, or for me as a woman in a male-dominated industry, it's often very not unusual for me to kind of second guess myself and think, oh, maybe I shouldn't ask for that, or maybe, I'm not quite right to do like this role or things like that. But it's given me a lot more confidence just to believe in myself. I've seen a lot of people from my mentee group kind of go on to be freelance or take on a completely different role. And they've really inspired me to just try something different and just not doubt myself. And that's really important. That's really helped me.
Sam, you're now a leader in an organization. What advice would you give to companies or leaders in this sector who are looking to advance diversity and inclusions within their teams or organizations?
To the people within your company, invest in women. We know our stuff. So all I've got to say. And I think, encouraging people to be part of schemes like Rise, just get them involved as much as you can, and trust the people you've got.
Excellent. Anyone else want to chip in on that?
I think just previously having been sort of manager of a large team, I think there's a really intricate balance between the awareness of what's out there in the industry, which is one of the hardest things to figure out, and then also people coming to you. And I think it really shows investment in your people if you can suggest something to them, instead of expecting them to come to you with all these ideas about what courses they want to go on or what conferences they should try. And actually, having been part of the RISE program, I personally feel like my eyes have been really open to what sort of things are going on. We went to the DPP leaders briefing last week, learnt about all the trends that the CTOs are talking about in terms of what they want from suppliers, or just the challenges that they're facing in the industry. And you pick up on all the common trends, and not only does that make you an asset for your business, but it also just gives you a really good awareness of, okay, well, if these people are speaking about these things now, I sort of know what's going to be happening over the next few years. So I think being able to give those opportunities to your people is unbelievably important, and that's what's going to keep them engaged. It's going to keep them coming back. It's going to make them feel like they're really valued.
Last week, did you feel that the program is having an effect on the industry? Did you see the result of what Rise is doing kind of actually having that impact? I mean, was your first event last week?
Yeah, so I think one of the first things that was said at the DPP leaders briefing was that there is a Rise cohort here. So I think that was wicked. And massive credit to the DPP for sort of being such a solid supporter of Rise. And I think it's the continuity of that. It's visibility for sure, but also for all of us, I think we'd probably feel comfortable now having those conversations with people, being able to say in a room, okay, well, actually, we were at the leaders briefing and we found out some really interesting things. I bumped into a couple of colleagues there I didn't even know were going. I was like, oh, IMG's here, no way. So I think just, that connectedness and the openness is definitely making sort of little steps into the industry. But I mean, seeing people here today is brilliant because they can now understand, Rise, okay, I've heard of that a few times. I sort of know it's a thing, but what is it? And I think the more people you speak to that are part of the program, and say be that supporters, mentors, mentees, you'll just find some phenomenal people. They've all got brilliant stories. So the more it spreads, I think, the better it will become. And I just feel really lucky to sort of be part of it. And I suppose, as I was saying to Carla a bit earlier, I do see this as sort of the start of your journey with Rise. I know that I've had to balance being in a new role, having operational responsibilities, and maybe not being able to commit to things, which is really frustrating. But equally, everyone's been really supportive, and every time we've been together, they've just been like, how's it going? There's just that openness. So yeah, it's definitely an impact, but I think there's still quite a long way we can go, and it's sort of everyone here and beyond that it can start from.
And sorry, I'm going to ask you a similar question. So you joined the industry 2015, did you say?
Yes.
So almost a decade. What sorry.
It was yesterday.
So we all start to feel a little bit older. What have you seen in terms of the change in the industry in that time and the impact of programs like the Rise Mentoring Program on the industry?
I think things such as gender diversity, just diversity in general, has become much more of a priority for businesses. I know in our company, we wouldn't say that we're perfect at diversity, equity, inclusion, but it's something our CEO talks about quite a bit. He's joined, he didn't ask me any things with things like women in streaming, and it's something that we're always talking about as a company and finding ways to support underrepresented groups and more diverse talent.
Although Rise is, of course, focused on empowering gender diversity in the industry, men are welcome to join too and support the initiatives. And I should have said I am a mentor, and it's been an incredible experience, and I would encourage absolutely everybody to sign up. And if you get matched, you will love it.